Walk into any modern home and you will likely find a small graveyard of good intentions. On the nightstand, the bookshelf, or the digital library of a Kindle sit dozens, sometimes hundreds, of self-help books. Their spines are unbroken, or worse, broken in all the wrong places. Pages are filled with pastel highlights and optimistic underlines. Instagram flatlays show them stacked aesthetically beside a coffee cup and a succulent. Yet the reader's life remains stubbornly unchanged. You bought the books with hope. You read or skimmed them with excitement. For a few days, or perhaps a few weeks, you felt inspired. Then reality returned, and the gap between who you are and who you want to become yawned as wide as ever. Mortimer Adler, the formidable 20th century philosopher and educator, would look at this scene and deliver a verdict both brutal and liberating. Most people do not truly read books. They let their eyes pass over the pages and call it self-improvement. Adler's 1940 classic, How to Read a Book, remains one of the most important, and most ignored, works on genuine learning ever written. In it, he outlined 4 distinct levels of reading, and the contemporary self-help industry has perfected the art of keeping its audience firmly trapped at the lowest 2. Elementary reading is the most basic, simply recognizing words and sentences. You finish the book and feel productive because you got through it. Inspectional reading is skimming, reading the table of contents, introduction and conclusion to grasp the general idea. You walk away with surface-level insights and a temporary motivational high that evaporates by the weekend. The self-help industry thrives in this shallow zone. It sells hope in paperback form. Every year, new gurus repackage the same 12 ideas with better marketing, celebrity endorsements, and prettier covers. They promise that if you just consume one more book, one more course, one more affirmation, your life will finally transform. The result is a culture of intellectual consumerism. You feel like you're growing because you're constantly buying and consuming, but real change remains elusive. Adler refused to accept this mediocrity. He argued that true reading is an active, demanding intellectual workout. It requires effort comparable to what the Stoics demanded of daily life. This brings us to analytical reading, level 3, deep, critical engagement with the text. You mark margins aggressively. You argue with the author. You ask 4 essential questions. What is the book about as a whole? What is the author's main point? Is it true? And most importantly, so what? Why does it matter to me? Even higher is syntopical reading, level 4, where you read multiple books on the same subject and create your own original synthesis. Very few self-help readers ever reach this level, which is precisely why they remain stuck in a cycle of endless consumption. The Stoics understood this danger long before Adler. They did not treat philosophy as entertainment or emotional comfort food. They treated it as rigorous training for the soul. Marcus Aurelius composed his meditations not for public acclaim, but as private notes to himself while leading Rome through war and plague. He reminded himself daily of what truly mattered, so he would not be swept away by circumstance. Seneca used writing as a form of mental preparation for adversity, exile, and even death. Epictetus, who was born a slave and later became one of the most influential teachers of his time, taught that external events have no power over us. Only our judgments do. These men did not consume wisdom for dopamine hits. They internalized it until it shaped their character. Adler and the Stoics would have recognized each other as kindred spirits. Both demanded intellectual courage and personal responsibility. Both understood that knowledge without application is worse than ignorance, because it creates the dangerous illusion of progress. This is the uncomfortable truth the self-help industry avoids. Most readers are not failing because the books are bad. They are failing because they treat books like fast food for the ego, quick consumption followed by no real nourishment. You finish a book on discipline and feel motivated for 3 days, then return to old habits. You read about atomic habits but never build one that sticks. The book becomes another participation trophy on your shelf. The solution is not to stop reading. The solution is to read properly. Adler's method, strengthened by Stoic discipline, offers a clear path. Begin with inspectional reading. Spend 10-20 minutes skimming any new book. Ask yourself honestly, Does this deserve my limited time and attention? Most books will fail this test. That's okay. Time is your most precious resource. If a book passes, move to analytical reading. Treat it like a worthy opponent. Mark every page. Write questions and objections in the margins. Summarize each chapter in your own words. Disagree with the author when necessary. This active engagement turns passive consumption into genuine understanding. The highest level, syntopical reading, is where mastery begins. Choose 3 to 5 books on the same topic: discipline, habits, mindset, courage, and put them in conversation with one another. What do they agree on? Where do they contradict? What can you synthesize into your own philosophy of life? Finally, never skip the most important step: application. After finishing any book, write down one specific action you will take immediately, then do it. No excuses. This is where Stoic discipline becomes non-negotiable. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, mentally rehearsing future difficulties so they would not be overwhelmed. Combine that mental toughness with Adler's active reading method, and you stop being a consumer of ideas. You become a creator of character. The self-help industry does not want this version of you. It profits from your endless search, not your arrival at self-mastery. Real growth is rarely glamorous. It happens at 11 p.m. when you choose to mark up a book instead of scrolling. It happens when you choose discipline over comfort. It happens in the quiet moments when no one is watching. Your bookshelf does not need more books. It needs a reader worthy of the ideas inside them. Mortimer Adler is watching. The Stoics are watching. The only question that remains is what you will do about it. Stop skimming through life. Start owning your mind. The revolution is not loud. It does not come with perfect morning routines or viral affirmations. It comes when you finally decide to treat every book, every day, and every decision as an opportunity to level up. The next level is waiting. Are you ready to fight for it? By the way, in case you don't know him, Mortimer J. Adler is one of the most important yet approachable philosophers and educators of the 20th century. Mortimer Jerome Adler, 1902-2001, was an American philosopher, author, editor, and passionate advocate for liberal education. Working firmly in the Aristotelian and Thomistic traditions, he dedicated his long life to making great ideas accessible to ordinary people. He believed philosophy is not reserved for academics, but is everybody's business. Adler taught that every human being possesses the natural ability to think deeply, reason clearly, and pursue wisdom through the study of timeless works. Born in New York City to working-class Jewish immigrants, Adler discovered his love for learning early. After working at the New York Sun as a teenager, he attended Columbia University. There, he encountered the great books approach, which would shape his entire career. Though he completed his coursework, he refused the mandatory swimming test and received his diploma only decades later as an honorary degree. He earned a PhD in psychology in 1928 and began teaching at Columbia before moving to the University of Chicago. At Chicago, Adler partnered with Robert Maynard Hutchins to revolutionize undergraduate education. They argued that true liberal education comes from direct engagement with the great books, masterworks by Homer, Plato, Aristotle, Shakespeare, Kant, and others, rather than textbooks or fleeting trends. This method, they believed, builds critical thinking, moral judgment, and democratic citizenship. Adler's core conviction was simple: the best ideas from the past remain the best teachers today. In 1940, Adler published his most famous book, How to Read a Book. Updated in 1972 with Charles Van Doren, it became a bestseller and remains a classic. Adler introduced 4 levels of reading: elementary, inspectional, analytical, and syntopical. He taught readers how to actively engage texts, marking margins, asking questions, identifying arguments, and comparing ideas across books. The work empowered countless people to read with greater depth and understanding, turning passive consumers of information into active seekers of wisdom. Adler's influence expanded dramatically through the Great Books of the Western World project. As chairman of the board of editors at Encyclopedia Britannica, he helped release a 54-volume set in 1952 containing 443 great works. He also created the Syntopicon, a brilliant 2-volume index organizing 102 great ideas, such as truth, justice, beauty, liberty, and God, across centuries of thought. These projects, along with the Great Books Foundation, inspired adult education groups and discussion seminars across the country. Throughout his career, Adler wrote more than 50 books. Titles like Aristotle for Everybody, 6 Great Ideas, and How to Think About God brought complex philosophy into everyday language. He co-founded the Aspen Institute and directed the Institute for Philosophical Research, leading major studies on freedom and other fundamental concepts. Later in life, after years of rational exploration, he converted to Christianity, first Episcopal and then Roman Catholic. Adler was a gifted communicator with a clear, conversational style. He avoided jargon and spoke directly to the public through books, columns, and television. He championed educational reform in the Paideia Proposal, calling for a rigorous, idea-centered curriculum available to every child. Though occasionally criticized for promoting the Western canon, Adler replied that these works belong to all humanity. Restricting access to great ideas, he said, is the real elitism. Even in his 90s, Adler remained intellectually active until his death in San Mateo, California, at age 98. His legacy lives on through Great Books programs, the Center for the Study of the Great Ideas, and the countless readers he inspired. In an age of information overload and shallow attention, Adler's message feels urgently relevant. He taught us to read deeply, think critically, and discuss ideas with charity and rigor. By engaging the greatest minds of the past, we sharpen our own minds, strengthen our character, and become better citizens and human beings. Adler showed that intellectual growth is a lifelong adventure open to everyone who is willing to make the effort. His Aristotelian emphasis on virtue, habit, and contemplation offers a powerful antidote to modern distractions. Whether exploring justice, beauty, happiness, or the existence of God, Adler invited all of us to join the great conversation. He remains a model of clarity, optimism, and faith in human potential. 2 book recommendations to level up your mind: How to Read a Book, revised edition with Charles Van Doren. The Ultimate Guide to Active Analytical Reading. Aristotle for Everybody, Adler's clear introduction to timeless wisdom on logic, ethics, and human nature. If this helped you discover or rediscover Mortimer J. Adler, subscribe and comment below with your favorite insight or which great book you plan to tackle next.